Hello, Asya.
Hello, Susie. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm
Thank you for
fine.
joining me.
It's my pleasure.
It's good to see you. It's been a while.
Yes.
So, this was supposed to be a channel where I did book reviews, and I probably will still do that in the future, but I was inspired to do some interviews with artists of all mediums, and you're my first interview, so I appreciate your willingness to do this.
I appreciate it too. Thank you, Susie.
I'm going to go ahead and introduce you, and then I'll dive right into the questions that I have for you.
All right.
Okay, so joining me today is Asiya al Sharabi, who is a Yemeni artist and currently lives in Richmond, Virginia. She started as a journalist and photographer and then moved into the art scene as a Middle Eastern female artist. She faced many challenges during her career as a photographer, and she turned her lens to art photography in an effort to capture the energy and personality of some Arab women who are not allowed to be photographed. She uses a self-developed technique that expresses and focuses not only on aesthetics, but also on the underlying struggles of women in the world today. Her work questions the effect of culture and religion on female identity and is exhibited widely, both nationally and internationally. In April 2010, her photo Fear was featured on the front cover of the Yemen Today magazine for celebrating International Women's Day. In 2009 to 2010, she was selected as the first Yemeni woman to represent Yemen at the British Council's first Cultural Leadership International program. And in 2013, she moved to the USA because of the current war in her country, Yemen. While waiting to go back home, she is now exhibiting her work at Artworks Gallery in Richmond. Lately, during a workshop at Anderson Ranch Art Center, Colorado, she developed a series combining a digital and handmade technique and was selected as the first Yemeni artist to participate in their residency program in 2016. Asiya was featured in Richmond Magazine and in Richmond, Virginia Magazine as in an article about her work and how she intends to make the most of the opportunity being in the US and away from home.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Asiya.
Thank you for this introduction.
My pleasure. So I'm going to go straight into my questions. And my first question is, I'm forgetting how to talk. Anyway,
It's okay.
um, when, why, and how did you become an artist?
From the day I remember, I think it was at age 4 or 5, I picked up a pen and started drawing. And it's funny because I used to see people's profile through a frame in my imagination, especially the old ones. Why? It's always difficult to answer this question, Susie. But based on where I come from, art gives me the opportunity and the freedom from culture barriers. As an artist, I can speak about a subject directly or indirectly. I can express myself as a woman, mainly in a conservative country like Yemen. And how my dad was the chief editor of the biggest newspaper in the country. Cameras around the house. And one day I picked one camera up and started taking photos. To my surprise, my father developed the film and showed me the photos I took. And he said, Asya, you're talented. Later on, I realized I also love photography and it became a big, big part of my life.
Nice, nice. That's so inspiring.
Thank you.
So can you tell me more about what kind of art that you make? currently? And has it always been the same art that you made, or did it change along the years?
Mhm. Recently, I do photography, calligraphy, and paint combined together. I like to do an abstract painting too, and I also like to collect vintage cards or images of an old families to add a personal touch of art to it. But because I'm an artist who's extremely affected by women's history, by their struggle, by their pain, and by their ups and downs, and how the effect of culture and religion played a big role in shaping their identity and my identity as well.
Mm-hmm.
I worked on that subject long time ago, and I call it my negative period. Because I used to and still turn my images into negative, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I always captured Yemeni women who are socially not allowed to be photographed. And I use the self-developed technique to hide their identity, but still maintain their beauty, their personality, and where they come from. Every picture I took, I had to show them how it looks, assure them that their identity will not be revealed. And once trust is built, I go ahead and take the next picture and repeat the process. And there was times when I also used mannequins where I needed no permission, and I was a little bit more aggressive in conveying the story. Um, and I also used models from other Arab countries where women are more liberal, like Egypt and Lebanon.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I was wondering about the negatives in your photos. So
Mhm.
thank you for explaining that. I kind of had a hunch that that might be the reason, as I'm familiar with
Now
the
you know.
whole no photographs thing and like,
Yeah, now you know.
yeah, 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 that's genius.
Thank you. I had to find my way, you know.
Yeah, of course. And I'm glad that they were able to trust you as well.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
that's a key there. So can you describe your creative process for me, please?
Okay, it's spare of the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but it reflects collective knowledge, observation. And let me share this with you. From early ages, I was different from other girls. My parents and relatives, and also in school, they used to call me the old soul. You know, I wasn't interested on toys or playing with other children. I noticed when I walk into a place, my eyes immediately capture the decoration, the feature of people, their movement, and all of that combined with cultural knowledge is reflected on the creative process. Um, so let me take you to my creative process anyway. The
Mm-hmm.
first stage is inspiration, and inspiration comes from two things: motivation and desperation. For example, when I get upset or feel unsafe or even disagree about a subject, I express how I feel through art. And last year, Trump inspired me. It's
He
funny, I know.
inspired all of us.
Yeah, and I did a series and called it tromperie, and it's a French word. It means deception, and it's about immigrants. And so the second stage is imagination. So I start to imagine my project, and then in this stage, it's mental. Everything is in my mind. I draw different colors, different clothes, different locations. All this
Mm-hmm.
is mentally while I'm eating, while I'm drinking coffee, while I'm walking my dog, and so on. The third stage is preparation. I look for my subject and I do a lot of research. I look for the location, I look for materials, I connect with artists, I go to galleries and museums, and I watch the movie Frida Kahlo a lot. And I like every time I get a chance to get inspired, and I never get bored. My fourth stage, and I call it my eureka moment, is the moment that I feel I will create something beautiful. For example, if I wake up and I'm not in the mood to work, I don't work. Even 1 week later, or even a month. Um, uh, you know, we're an artist, right?
Yeah.
We're not a factory, mass production. It's not that I wait for the right moment. It just hits me. And sometimes I work for 2 months continuous every single day and night. The last and the fifth stage, I call it pause. I just stop working for some time. And then I come back and I evaluate the work and I add a little bit of touches here and there, get a second opinion of people I trust. Then it goes to public.
Yes. I'm glad you said that we're artists and we're not factories.
Absolutely.
And this day and age, there are so many artist factories.
I mean, it's sad, but it's happening, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned Frida because
no way. Oh, wow.
She must be watching over all of us women artists.
I know, she inspires me a lot what she went through, and you know, and I even called my dog Frida after her.
That is so awesome. I gotta meet Frida sometime.
Yes, sure.
So my next question is, what does presence mean to you, and have you experienced this while you're creating?
Yeah, I'm faced with two realities, Susie. The first one, which I love, is when I create work, I disconnect from everything around me and I become one with the art that I do. I try to have the same feelings. I listen to music related to my subject. I just connect emotionally with my work. But I also have to admit that I do my work one piece at a time. It depends on how I feel and what I want to say. Sometimes I start working on a subject, then I'll just put it aside. Other times I switch and do something else. And the second part that I'm proud of, but it bothers me a lot, is the culture, family, religious influences of me being from Yemen. In my subconscious mind, I can't let go. You know, sometimes I wonder what kind of art I could create if I was born in a different country to a different family.
Yes. Yeah, I guess it takes living in the United States like 20 years before you can let go of all that stuff and start creating what you want to create.
Oh, 20 years, that's very long.
I think you're doing a good job. It took that long for me, so.
Yeah, because you're Lebanese based in the US, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, of course. So my next question is, where can we see your work? Where can we see more of your work? And do you have any upcoming shows that people can go to?
Yeah, and you can see my work at my website, asiaart.com, and in Instagram, Asiya Art, and also on Facebook with my first and last name, Asiya al Sharabi. I make sure that I post every event and achievement that I make because I have a reason for that. I want to empower women, especially the young Yemeni girls. I want them to be empowered, motivated, and to dream big. I want them to fight for their dreams and for their freedom, not necessarily ideological freedom, but freedom to be part of everything, you know, to be right up there with men. And I always had this fantasy in my head. I want my art to impact men, not just women. And if you ask me why, I'll say I want to shake them a little bit. So, so I just want to be a good example for the Yemeni girls. And I also want to represent Yemen in an artistic way and let the world know that we're not terrorists or backward. No, we can make a difference in the world. We have a voice and it's a loud one.
Well, that's an amazing cause, and I see you as an activist for sure, and you're using your art to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. I actually have one more question before you leave. If you were to come back to this life, would you still choose to be an artist? And
yes.
If not, what would you want to be?
I don't want to be anything else.
Oh,
definitely, you know, simply because art, like, you know, gives us the opportunity to wonder, to inspire, to educate, and also to influence. Yes. Isn't that great?
And you get to put your own hours.
Of course. It's like
and be your own boss.
You know? Yeah, you're a free spirit.
Exactly.
So it's like out of a body experience. It gives us the opportunity to communicate with people of any language and any race, and I love that. Sometimes I feel
Yes.
that I speak the language of art better than English or even Arabic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and and
Yes.
and
Nice.
and, and now I have a solo show at Artworks Gallery, and also another solo show at Rionald's Gallery at St. Catherine, and both of them are in Richmond. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, Asya. This
thank
was fun. I'm glad you could join me. And everyone, please check out the link. I will put Asya's website's link in the video on this, under this video. So until next time, appreciate you. And I'll be back with some more interviews. Bye,
Okay, thank you.
Asya.
Thank
Take
you for
care.
having
And
me, Susie. Bye bye.
thank you. Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.